All right, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. In this one, I wanted to discuss in detail why I stayed motivated after that six-figure yearly income mark. I think a lot of people, particularly, young guys, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, this range, typically like college age range guys, if you're making six figures yearly, why even continue? Why not just bolt that in, keep that as it is, and coast for a while? Find a nice girl, settle down, something like that, or whatever. Not that I'm opposed to settling down. I'm actually working on it right now. But that being said, why keep going? Why even keep going? What's the point? If you have six figures, that's about as, you hear it online, that's as much money as you'll ever need, right? But I want to address that is a broken view of money entirely, and one that will keep you broke. It's like, that is such a wrong view of money. That is not how money works. Money doesn't provide so that you can be comfortable. It's a challenge, and I want to talk about that in this video. But before I get into really why I've stayed motivated after six figures and how I grew past it emotionally, not just in my business, because really, once you're at six figures, it's kind of just a choice you make to grow more. You already know the dynamics of the business, likely you already know how to grow the thing. So that being said, I want to say two things. So first of all, if you have any questions at any point in time throughout this video or anything like that, or you're watching my videos, you may be watching them like you're just kind of splurging on my videos, binge watching my videos is what it's called. Message me on Instagram at Trey Cockrum if you have any questions. I'm really active on Instagram. I do daily stories. I show you guys what my workflow looks like, my day-to-day. I show you guys sales calls that I'm doing. It's a good place to follow, and also send me a message and say, hey, saw your video, I've got this question, what do you think? And I'll happily answer it for you and help you out. The other thing is, if you're ready to take the leap and you just want some free help maybe, I'm taking one-to-one calls for the six-figure marketing consultant program. There's no pressure to buy anything on these calls, but if I think you're a good fit, I'm gonna do my best to get you in as long as I feel like you're qualified. Because what I've seen is that there's a lot of people who just aren't ready for the stuff that this program details. This is not a beginner course. This is not really something that is fit for a total newbie, but I've also had plenty of people who are completely brand new roll in and they end up succeeding. So maybe I'm wrong. So really, if you just want more help growing your agency business, your consulting business, schedule a call. I don't know where the link will be, but my editor will put something somewhere. Be sure to schedule your meeting. So, all of that said, what motivated me past six figures? Why did I even grow past six figures? Why do you even need to grow past? Why do you even need to grow past six figures? So I want to talk about the concept of a garden, because the garden is such a interesting, theological, psychological, emotional concept when you apply it properly. So let's think about a garden for a second. We've got, what makes a garden good? You need seeds to plant. You need sun, water, soil. You need somebody to maintain it, or a group of people to maintain it. It needs trimmed often. It needs harvested when it's time to harvest. It needs, you need to replant when it's time to replant. And let's say you've got infinite land, which represents kind of the marketplace, and your ability to do well in it, right? It's infinite. It really is infinite. There's no cap to how well you could do money-wise. There's just no cap. It goes on infinitely. You got to understand that, okay? So you got infinite land, you've got a garden, and let's say you start with 5 seeds. You plant those 5 seeds, five bushes sprout. Let's say they're freaking, who knows what, they're peppers or something. And then you're harvesting these and you're replanting those seeds, and you grow it to a point where you're like, all right, I've got 50 bushes. I think I'm good with that. I think I'm going to stop, and I think I'm going to start throwing out a bunch of the seeds that I could be replanting. I think I'm going to just start, maybe just giving those away for free because I'm a good charitable person, and I'm so I think you can see where I'm going with this. And you end up with only 50 bushes when you could have 500. Okay? And now everybody has their own reason for settling. Everybody has their own reason. Everybody's got their own justification for why they should stick at the level that they're at. But I got to help you understand that you're viewing the game wrong completely. If you think that 50 bushes is enough and you shouldn't be growing it, well, you got to understand that your garden's going to die. Your garden is going to die. The second you settle, you sign a contract with yourself that says, eventually, I'm willing to pick up the slack that I've created by settling right now. You got to understand that. That applies to women as well if you're a young guy. If you settle for a crappy girl and you get married, then you're going to have a crappy marriage probably. Unless you're really good at leading and making sure things go well. Like there's all kinds of things like that, like relationships, fitness, another thing. Like if you're willing to settle with your fitness, you'll turn 35, 40, and we've just seen, this is just statistics. We just see this all the time. You turn 35, 40, you got a bunch of slack you got to pick up. Like every single time. The second you settle, you sign a contract with yourself that says, later on, I'll pick up the slack for this. So really, you got to understand that how you do anything is how you do everything. That's the first concept. And the second concept is that there's no such thing as stagnancy. Like it's binary. You're either growing or you're shrinking. You're growing or you're shrinking. There's the only two states. There is no stagnancy. There's no stagnancy in life. There's no stagnancy in business. There's no stagnancy in relationships. If you're a Christian like myself, there's no stagnancy in your faith. There's no stagnancy to be found anywhere. No such thing. And you're stupid for thinking there is stagnancy. I'll just call you out. If you think you can stagnate and coast at 6 figures, I can almost guarantee you within a year your business is going to be gone. I can like with 90% certainty guarantee you it's going to be gone. Literally 90% certainty. Because I've seen it happen a lot. And I've done it myself. My first $30,000 month, I was like, you know what? This is enough money. I'm good. I'm going to start being a 20-year-old kid. I'm going to start playing more video games. I'm going to start hanging out with more girls. I'm going to start doing all that. It was like 2 months, and I was already back down to like 15. And this was only like 4 months ago. So like, this is fresh in my mind. And so this is a message that I feel like a lot of people need to hear. Okay? There's no such thing as stagnancy. How you do anything is how you do everything. If you're not constantly growing your business, you're probably not constantly growing your relationships either, or your fitness, or your, intellectual abilities, or whatever. I don't know what to call that. So like, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're not constantly growing your business, probably not constantly growing your relationships, probably not constantly growing yourself as a person, as a man, or as a woman. So really, like, are you really willing to settle? Because when you settle in your business, you also open up the door for you to settle in other areas of your life. Like, you gotta understand that. Because it's like, it's not like we have our business life and our personal life, then our spiritual life, then our emotional. It's not like you have those categories don't exist. You gotta understand. This is the biggest lesson I learned, man. If you apply this one thing, it's going to change your life forever. That's all one big freaking thing. There's no such thing as like a business and then family and then blah, 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 blah. It's all one big mess. It's all one big mess or one big success. It's your choice. And it all starts with who you are. And if you're the kind of person to settle in business, I don't even like that phrase, in business. If you're the kind of person to settle, then you're the kind of person to settle and your life will settle. And to some people, they're going to hear that and be like, oh, that's a really unhealthy perspective. That puts a lot of pressure on me. I feel it good. The pressure's good. We live in a soft culture, man. We live in a place where people are just like soft. They're just so soft. They want comfort. They want safety. They want guarantees. The education system, they sell that perceived feeling of safety. That's what a degree is. So you got to understand that the second you settle, you make an agreement with yourself that you're going to pick up that slack later. And I've done it. I've done it a couple times. I've settled. I've gotten comfortable. I live in a bougie apartment downtown from where I grew up. I'm the fastest, most successful kid in my entire family history as far as I'm concerned. I don't know any kid who's done as well as I have at my age, right? And frankly, I don't know anybody in my local friend network who's anywhere near where I'm at. And I could really coast on that. I could really let my ego take charge and say, you know what, Trey, you're a baller. Pay your rent ahead 8 months, chill here for a while, coast, just coast, man. But what a stupid way to live. Isn't that just stupid when you think about it? Because then what will I do with my future family, for example? My kids will be 13, 14, 15. I'll be like, you know what? They're good enough. I feel like they're good. I don't have to set a good example for them anymore. They've got it. That's stupid. So you got to understand that there's no separation between business, personal, everything. If you want a good life, because that's really what business is. It's business is this place to practice principles that apply across the board. And it's a great place to grow and learn on a numerical, measurable level. How much money's in your bank is a great way to measure your growth. I remember when I had $5,000 in the bank, now I've got, well, I'm not going to say, but, now I've got a whole lot more than that, And so you got to understand that, as you decide to coast, as you decide to get comfortable, as you decide to say, you know what, this is enough, you write a check to yourself of a negative amount. You're not just saying I'm gonna stay here. You're saying I don't care to grow, and I don't care about the losses that I take from growing too. So you gotta understand, like, think for a second. If all you did was flip the switch and say, you know what, instead of settling, I'm gonna keep working, there's potentially millions of dollars in that single decision for you. Just not in your bank right now, but millions of dollars in the future. Or hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands, depending on where you're at, okay? But for me, it's definitely millions or tens of millions of dollars. That's where I'm at. If I decide to coast right now, I am writing myself a negative check for I would say about $5 million in the next 5 years at minimum. Like I just know that that's where I'll be based on trajectory. So here's another thing too. You gotta understand that to grow from 6 figures to multiple $10,000 a month, which is it seems like a big leap for some people, but it's really not. It took me a year and a half to get to 6 figures. And then it took me 3 months to get to 20 grand a month. And then it took me another whoops, my battery, I don't know if, I just got a notification that my battery's low. It took me a year and a half to get to 6 figures, right? And then it took me 2 months to get to multiple $10,000 a month, about $20,000, $30,000 a month. And it took me another 2 to get to 40, right? And that's about where I'm at right now. And so you gotta understand, it's this really crazy, hockey stick trajectory. So you're just gonna stay here for a while, and then eventually something kind of pops. And if you don't lean into that, pop, you're just gonna go right back down. You don't pop off a little bit and then stay there. Nobody's ever done that. No company's ever done that. No individual's ever done that. You're either growing or you're shrinking. It's a binary state. Trees, they're either growing or they're dead. That's just how trees work. Gardens, same thing. People, same thing. Businesses, same thing. Because we all follow the same rules that govern nature. We are organic beings, and businesses are a byproduct of these organic thinking things. Of course, we have a spiritual side, but that's a completely different conversation, right? And just like everything, we either grow or we shrink. We're either growing and getting better and faster and stronger and more agile, more fit, or we are shrinking. So there's no binary state. There's no state between those two. This is very binary. It's very on or off, growth or shrinkage. So the second you decide to coast, the second you say, I don't care. Even if you've built $1 million a year business, and I could say that at my stage too. I'm not even there yet, but I could tell you if you're at $1 million, $5 million, $10 million a year, and you're like, this is cool. I like this. Let's just stay here for a while. You're doing the exact same thing that somebody at 6 figures who decided that that's enough income for them did to themselves as well. You're either growing or shrinking. So I feel like I'm beginning to be a broken record. I hope this video was meaningful to you. I hope it helped you. If you are at that $5,000 to $10,000 a month level and you're thinking this is enough, I feel good. Trust me, it's nowhere near enough. It's just nowhere near enough. We need a lot. It's, when I sat down, so something healthy for you to do would be to sit down and measure out the worst case scenario. Put yourself 10 years ahead. In my eyes, I'm gonna have a lot of kids. And so I imagined 2 of them both needed medical bills paid. And I happened to accidentally not be insured for some crazy reason. I wasn't insured. And then in the same week, I had a friend pass away and I have to take on his kids or something. Am I ready for that? No, I'm not. And not that I should use that as a measuring stick for whether I'm being successful or not, but it should kind of challenge you. If you're really wanting to build something meaningful, then why are you coasting along the way? Are you really just doing it for you? If you're just doing it so that you can, have money in the bank while you play Xbox, that's one thing. But if you're doing it because you like the journey and you like the trajectory, you like the end result as a whole, that's a totally different thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe, everything like that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.